good night, everyone. Currently, it's around 8:30 in the evening, and it's Saturday, April 22nd. And just as an update to my last video, I did end up getting into the college I really wanted. Oh, sorry, the music's a little loud. Let me turn it down a little. Alright, sorry about that. Yes, I did get into the college I wanted to, and on top of that, two other colleges sent me, admissions offers. They say, hey man, we accept you, right? So currently, it doesn't really matter though, because I can only go to one. And a good thing about that is like the college I really wanted to go to, applied for some financial aid, and I did get myself a scholarship. We're looking to see if we can get a little more though, because I did mention this in passing, but my family's not doing so great, so whatever money in terms of like college expenses I can spare them, that'd be like pretty good, right? Anyhow, I'm really hungry and I want to go down and like eat dinner, but really in no mood to eat right now. I'm in a mood to take a bath. I smell awful, and you're probably wondering why. If you're in gel cord or scythe cord, I have like talked about this, but you know, mom, as you know, mom's like trying to earn the family some money, right? And we we own this property, and we like rented it to some tenants, and I think mom said it was like for a year. They lived there for a year, right? And then we recently had to evict them because we found out that they were actually cutting down our trees because the property, we own this patch of land which is a forest, right? And the forest surrounds the house, and we went there to see that actually it wasn't just a few trees, right? A whole chunk of the forest was cleared out, right? And they didn't even pick like the small trees; they were like the big ones that were like growing for hundreds of years. Ones that you probably older than your, you know, some pretty damn old trees. I was really upset to see that it was cut down, right? No, but that's not the end of it, because we went inside to check the interior of the house, and we were just hit with this awful smell, and it was a nightmare, right? Rolling up to the property, we were like, oh, this house in the middle of nowhere and surrounded by forest. This is like a setting for a horror movie, right? And it turns out a horror movie happened without an evil monster that kills people, because there was like dirt and I don't think like dirt even really cuts it. Like the place was filthy, and supposedly mom did actually hire a cleaning company to like do a little maintenance, clean it up a little, and she was really furious, right? Because there was stuff, and there was like just this really disgusting stuff everywhere, and I don't even want to describe what it was. And she said, $3,000 for this, and all they did was like take out some trash, because supposedly that's all they did, right? They just removed like garbage and waste products, and the kitchen was absolutely the worst. The oven was disgusting. The microwave was, oh, I don't even want to describe the microwave. Like, it had this rancid, awful, putrid smell, and like I can't describe it. You'd have to be there. But it's not there anymore, because what we actually discovered was in the fridge there was actually rotting food, like a lot of it too, not just like a few pieces. When we check, we saw there was like supposedly a whole chicken, entire bags of like slices of bread that were unopened, milk, which was terrible because the milk jug was leaking and it was rancid, and milk doesn't age well, right? And that's been like sitting there for months, right? And there was just these bottles of milk and ice cream and so much food, right? That they didn't even take with them. They didn't like leave with it, and that's not important though, because actually no, sorry. We ended up finding like ended up like finding like an entire attic full of mouse droppings, so like mice got into the entire house was pretty much decaying, like it was just coming apart, and there were all sorts of like damages to the property everywhere, like glass being broken. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in. know what? Yeah, sure. We'll just go with this. It's not a big deal. Sorry, hold on. I feel like I need to respect your personal space a little more. Let me turn on my computer mouse because my trackpad isn't very good. Sorry, nearly dropped my mouse. There we go. There we go. This is a more reasonable distance. I respect your personal space. Right. So the entire house was just in disarray and like decomposition. And later I asked Mom and found out that Mom thought that, you know, we had only taken out, the cleaning company had only taken out like 6 bagfuls of trash, right? Because when we went out to like clean out the fridge, from the food, right? We took out like 6 bags worth of food, like 6 bags of food that they just didn't touch, like would have otherwise been perfectly edible if it wasn't just sitting there rotting, right? Like they didn't even open it. And no, the cleaning company didn't take out 6 bags of trash. And you know, my cousin actually said that the price that Mom had to pay, like $3,000, was actually very reasonable for what they did. No, they removed 6 truckfuls of trash. Like, sorry, coding overload. Sorry about that. My, recording thing is a little, anyhow. Yeah, no, 6 trucks full of garbage. Like, that is... Mom said, you know, they must have just never done any cleaning around the house in the year that they were there. And, it smelled terrible. My mom smells terrible because she was mostly the one doing, like, emptying out the fridge, right? My cousin was out there doing repairs and, you know, where he could, right? Because we didn't expect the house to be in such poor condition. We didn't really come equipped. You know, Mom said, you know, hey, we're taking you along, you know, my little artist, you know, you can help decorate the place, right? Because we just brought a bunch of decorations, you know, we were hoping to make it all nice and presentable. No, we've got a long way to go. We were very, very unpleasantly surprised. I didn't end up doing much, obviously, because there's very little I could have actually done in terms of decorating when the entire house was decaying. Oh, yeah, my mom, her hands still smell, like, terrible after washing them a few times, and she's gone to take a bath. Obviously, she doesn't want to come home and eat dinner with that smell lingering. And I really regret bringing my bottle of off-brand Sprite with me, because you know, the smell did cling to like the bottle, and every time I'd like screw it off and like take a sip, I'd have to sniff rotting milk, which isn't very good. Although the worst part about this whole thing was we saw, you know, there were toys on the ground, children's clothes in the washing machine, which, by the way, they also didn't clean out the washing machine. Like, they still had their clothes there, and it was so small. Like, the clothes were like really small, and I looked and then there's crayon scribbles all over the walls. Like, these people had kids, and like not just like 1 or 2 kids. Like, there were like several, and it's a fairly big house, and there's multiple rooms, and we saw, like, you know, there were, you know, children were living here in a place where there was like 6 truckfuls of garbage. And I thought that was absolutely like the most heartbreaking part of like the entire trip. Like, there were like these little kids, like not my age, like not teenagers. They were clearly very young, because I saw like these little socks, and these socks were like super tiny. I feel terrible. Like, you know, me and my mom talked about it, and I was like, you know, Mom, you think the kids are all right? Because they clearly their parents don't really have much sense of responsibility. We can tell, right? That's got to be an awful situation for a kid to grow up in. Yeah. Aside from that, though, it's a bit, I feel bad for saying this now, because I feel like, you know, how can I say such a thing, right? No, but the house is actually pretty nice, right? You know, well, by itself, before it was, totally trash, I guess. You know, the place is nice. There's a little waterfall and a little pond, maybe sometime I can like pull up a picture and like show you all the little pond. It's surrounded by, you know, forestry. There's still a fair amount of vegetation even after like the people came and like the tenants came and like cut down everything that they weren't supposed to cut down. You know, we're thinking, you know, with proper renovations and taking care of it, because this older guy came along and, you know, wearing this construction vest, and, you know, Mom was talking to him and he said, you know, maybe I can like do some work on this thing, right? So we're hoping it turns out well, because if so, we can like, you know, Mom's thinking to use the place for some Airbnb, and that actually earn more than just having people having tenants rent it out. And maybe, you know, once in a while we can just like close it off to the public, you know, use it for the kids, right? Because I've got tons of siblings myself. So the kids can probably go there and, you know, have a fun weekend camping and all that, because there's like a little place set up for like a fireplace. It's really nice. There's like running water there. So, you know, with some proper care, the place has a lot of potential, right? But, you know, just seeing that in like just such a awful state really makes me kind of sad, because you know, not only were they, you know, destroying the forest around them, right, cutting down these really old trees and doing, I don't know, God knows what with them, and like, you know, completely ruining this is actually a pretty old house. I'm pretty sure this house is like has been around for 90 years. It was built in the 30s, 1930s. Yeah. It's a pretty charming piece of property. I'm not trying to sell you the house or anything. Think we're deciding, you know, to keep it, because, you know, a while ago Mom was desperately trying to sell the piece of property off. But yeah, you know, I really wonder how those kids are doing. I hope they're fine. In any case, do what you can, you know, clean up after yourself. You know, cleaning is important, just because like not only is it like aesthetically displeasing if you don't clean up, you know, it leaves a place really prone to infections and infestations, right? Because things are gonna start rotting, things are gonna start going bad. I can't really stand being unclean, so yeah, that's about all. See you next time.